Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Well, new at noon, Bakersfield police are now investigating the disappearance of a 13-year-old Bakersfield girl as a homicide. Patricia Alatorre was last seen on July 1st near Hosking and Weibel Road in southwest Bakersfield. Well, CHP says one man was killed and another arrested in a suspected DUI crash. Now, that happened late Saturday night. CHP says the crash happened about 4.5 miles north of Highway 178. That's when the pickup truck veered off the road and overturned. The driver has been identified as 31-year-old Eli Valdovinos. His passenger, whose name has not been released, died later that night at Kern Medical. Valdovinos was arrested. The holiday might be over, but fireworks are still going off all across town. This is a reminder that only the fireworks with the safe and sane seal are legal, but as of now, no usage is legal. The fire department says it's ready to write a fine for anyone who violates the rules. People caught with illegal fireworks can be fined $1,500, and the amount gets higher each time. The Bakersfield Fire Department released a website to report illegal fireworks. You can also download that city mobile app to file a report. Kern County Fire has already established a website. All this information can be found on our website, KGET.com. Well, now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Growing concern over COVID-19 in Kern County as our hospitals continue to fill with patients. Now, Public Health reports 124 new COVID-19 cases today. 82 people have lost their lives since March because of the virus. Over 5,300 people have tested positive for the virus. More than 1,400 people are currently infected. 123 are hospitalized. Local health officials say they expect Kern to reach ICU capacity later this month. However, they say they have plans in place to make extra beds available. They say the concern is still the possibility of a staffing shortage. Now, if you've lost your job during the coronavirus outbreak, a new website is here to help. Now, it's called I Lost My Job to Coronavirus.com. Here's how it works. The free site allows you to search for immediate openings and opportunities in an industry of your choosing. You can tailor the search to communities across the nation, including right here in Kern County. All you need to do is create a professional profile, and you will appear in recruiter talent searches. Now, during a Zoom interview, our 17's Aton Wallace caught up with the website's brother and sister co-founders.
What we noticed is that government officials and key decision makers, both in Los Angeles and around the country, were very much focused on solving the health and safety crisis that was at our fingertips. And what was left behind was the unemployment crisis that was affecting so many more people. So we found a niche, what we think, in the market to really help those who are unemployed and who have been negatively affected by the unemployment crisis going on right now, to help them find new opportunities.
We're really just trying to help as many people as we can and continuing what started as a small effort in our local community we're trying to promote it to a worldwide effort.
The founders say a huge component of this site centers around the idea of community. Users not only interact with employers, but with one another as well. Now, if you would like to check it out, we have posted a link on our site. The search continues for a man accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend's brother with a crossbow. This happened Saturday. BPD says a woman said her ex-boyfriend shot her brother with a crossbow. Police say they're now looking for 28-year-old Tyrone Chambers. He was last seen leaving the area of Oleander Drive. The woman's brother is expected to be okay. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact the police. And a body was pulled out of the Kern River in the same area where a man went missing on the 4th of July. KCSO says the body was pulled from the river around noon yesterday near the east entrance of Hart Park. The sheriff's office received calls of a man lost in the river around 3:40 Saturday evening. Various calls to dispatchers reported that the man was last seen holding onto a tree. Now, it's not clear if that body recovered Sunday is that same man. And a man was killed in a shooting in East Bakersfield on Saturday. KCSO says around 11 deputies were sent to the intersection of Gastro Avenue and Smith Street. Deputies say they found a man who had suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Despite attempts to revive him, deputies say he was pronounced dead at the scene. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact KCSO at 861-3110. Well, 2 young girls' lives were cut short after a gunman opened fire during a party in Delano. That happened Thursday night. The family says they were celebrating a birthday party and a graduation at this home on Oleander Street. The girls, 11-year-old Michaela Oshnuro and her friend, 12-year-old Elena Sadie, were in the front yard playing with other kids on a water slide when the shooting started. Police say a tan 4-door vehicle pulled up to the house. That's when a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt and mask got out and opened fire.
It was so wrong what they did. It's innocent people. Go kill each other. If that's what you want to do, go do it. And this has got to stop. We need help. It's not happening. We need help.
Michaela and Elena died at the scene. Now, 3 other adults were injured but are recovering at home. The suspected shooter still has not been arrested. Anyone with information on the shooting is asked to contact the Delano Police Department at 721-3377. Well, Kern County still holds a dark distinction in California with the highest homicide rate in the state. Now, according to California's Department of Justice, Kern had the highest homicide rate of any county with populations over 100,000 last year. In 2019, the homicide rate was 9.2 per 100,000 people. That's according to a DOJ report released this week. Now, there were 84 homicides in Kern County last year. That's 12 fewer homicides than KGET counted on its homicide tracker. But we also include prison deaths and people killed in officer-involved shootings, and Kern is on track for another deadly year. Halfway through 2020, the county has been the site of 60 homicides.
All right, I hope you had a good 4th of July weekend. The smoke from all the crazy fireworks are still around the area. 91 degrees in Bakersfield right now. We do have a light breeze, and that's always nice. That will help to kind of scour things out. A northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. And as we take a look at the almanac right now, overnight we're at 69 degrees. Our normal high for this time of year is 96. We'll be above that today. 1/6 the record set back in 1913. Here's a look at temperatures right now. We're in the 80s to lower 90s in all valley locations. 82 in Frazier Park, Tehachapi at 81, and already triple digits in Ridgecrest at 101 degrees. Skies remain clear. There's no change on that front. Maybe for the weekend, a few high clouds drifting on in, but that will be about it. And definitely no storms headed our way anytime soon. 88 in Sacramento today, 100 in Fresno, 70 out in Morro Bay, and we're looking at 70s and 80s to the south. And one thing you'll note here is to the east of us, that's where we really warm things up. 103 in Vegas, 111 in Phoenix, and that's because there's a ridge of high pressure over the Four Corners region that will build our direction for the weekend. Now, in the short term, we do have a weak trough developing out of the northwest, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Your travel forecast along Pismo Beach, 73, a little bit breezy today with that west-northwest wind, 15 to 20, but a nice day with those 70s. Take a look at the national weather on this Monday. Take a look at the numbers, 69 in Seattle. We warm things up. Once you leave the Pacific Northwest, we're at 90 in Boise, 77 in Billings, 85 Minneapolis today, and then 80s and 90s up into the Northeast, 95 in New York with D.C. at 93. Air quality today will be moderate with an AQI at 77 and temperatures right near 100. 99 in Bakersfield and Arvin, 100 in Delano and McFarland, 97 in Taft. For the mountains and the Kern River Valley, sunny day and northwest wind, 10 to 15, so that breeze will continue. 83 in Frazier Park, 86 in Tehachapi with 90s for the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabella 94, 96 in Kernville. For the desert, sunny and northwest wind, 15 to 20, and I have 97 in Mojave. Ridgecrest is the hot spot in Kern County today at 106. Your extended forecast tomorrow, cool down with 95 and then right back up into the triple digits for the weekend. In fact, by Sunday, we're looking at 105. For the mountains, plenty of sunshine, maybe a few high clouds Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Will remain into the 80s through at least Friday, but then back into those lower 90s Saturday and Sunday. And then for the Kern River Valley, lower 90s Tuesday and Wednesday, back into the mid-90s for Thursday, Friday, triple digits for you Saturday and Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
In our 17 Court Watch, one of the people accused of vandalizing Bakersfield Police Department Fallen Officer Memorial is due in court. Salvador Ibarra was arrested on July 1st. The incident happened overnight protests back in May following the death of George Floyd. The memorial was spray painted with the words "Kill More Cops." Barr is due in court for arraignment at 3 p.m. Also due in court today, Caleb Kessinger, who you may remember, he is charged with the murder of his then-girlfriend's 2-year-old son. Back in April of 2018, Kessinger and his former girlfriend, Elaide Chavez, were arrested and suspected of killing 2-year-old Raymond Angel Reyes Chavez. Police believe the pair dumped Raymond's body in the Kern River Canyon, then returned to bury it sometime later. Chavez took a plea deal in the case after leading police to the spot where her son's body was buried. She's expected to testify against Kessinger. Chavez told police she went out for dinner with friends and left Raymond in Kessinger's care. When she got home, she claims that Raymond had injured to his face and head and that the baby died later that night. Kessinger is set for a readiness hearing later today. Two people were rescued from the wreckage of a small plane crash in Minnesota on Sunday. Now, it happened in St. Louis County. Officials say the plane took off from the Tower Municipal Airport and was heading for Wisconsin. No flight plan had been filed. Authorities say a local deputy discovered the wreckage, which was still on fire. No word yet on the conditions of the two people who were rescued from the plane. The cause of that crash is under investigation. Cecily Aguilar is a woman allegedly involved in tampering with evidence after a missing Fort Hood soldier turns up dead appears in court today. Aguilar has been charged with conspiracy to tamper with evidence in connection to the death of Vanessa Gullion. Another person, Aaron Robinson, is believed to have killed Private First Class Gillian with a hammer. He killed himself last week. Robinson allegedly had assistance from Aguilar in dismembering and attempting to burn Gillian's body. Aguilar is set to remain in custody after her court appearance in Waco, Texas today. And a third former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd has been released from jail. According to jail records, Tao posted a $750,000 bond Saturday. 3 of the 4 officers charged in Floyd's death have now been released on bond. Floyd died as a result of an arrest on May 25th after an officer used his knee on Floyd's neck to pin Floyd down. Floyd's death has sparked worldwide protests over police brutality and racial injustice. Thao is expected in court on September 10th on charges of aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. Well, the woman charged with helping accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein abuse minors has been moved to a New York City jail. British socialite and Harris Ghislaine Maxwell faces federal charges of conspiracy to entice minors to travel and engage in illegal sex acts. Federal agents took her into custody in New Hampshire last week, moving her today to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. She's expected to appear before a judge Friday for a bail hearing. Prosecutors call her an extreme flight risk. Prosecutors say Maxwell helped Epstein recruit, groom, and abuse young women who some were just 14 at the time. Maxwell denies any wrongdoing, calling allegations from women, quote, absolute rubbish. Jeffrey Epstein was charged with sex trafficking last summer. He died by suicide in his New York City jail cell last August before his trial. The Supreme Court upholds a law banning robocalls to cell phones. A 1991 federal law makes cell phones a robocall-free zone, but Congress carved out an exception to the law in 2015, allowing automated calls for government debt collection. Promoting groups including political consultants and pollsters to petition the court to strike down the 1991 law as a violation of their right to free speech, arguing Congress was allowing one kind of speech, the debt collection, but not others. The justice threw out that exception, preserving the original ban on robocalls to cell phones. And a federal judge has ordered the Dakota Access Pipeline to be shut down until more environmental review is completed. The pipeline has been carrying oil for 3 years, but U.S. District Judge James Bosberg said in April that the pipeline is still highly controversial under federal environmental law. He also said there needed to be a more intensive review that the environmental assessment that was done. Judge Bosberg acknowledged that shutting down the pipeline will cause disruption, but it must close within 30 days. The pipeline is near the Standing Rock tribe. Now, that tribe continues litigation against the pipeline due to the fear of pollution. During the construction of the pipeline, protesters were held for months, sometimes turning violent, as the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and others opposed that project. The Mona Lisa is back in business. Paris' Louvre Museum, which houses the world's most famous portrait, reopened today after a 4-month coronavirus lockdown. Face masks are a must, and visitor numbers will be limited, with reservations required. About 70% of the giant museum is open again to visitors starved of art in the lockdown. The bulk of visitors to what was the world's most visited museum before the pandemic used to come from overseas, led by travelers from the United States. Now, Americans are still barred from the European Union that is gradually reopening its borders.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.